Thank you very much. We're going to hear next from Jacob Fry. Councilmember Fry, here's the question they have for you. Councilmember Fry, you've suggested capturing a percentage of tax revenue from increases in certain properties valued over $300,000 or more. You mentioned that earlier tonight. How would that work, and how would you keep that from slowing down development?
Well, it's a good question. So here's specifically how it would work. Let's say you have a home that is valued at $400,000, and that particular parcel is included within the framework. And let's say that 6 years later, it's valued at $470,000. That $70,000 of additional value results in new tax revenue. It's not a new tax, it's just value that we don't yet have. And if you were to pool a percentage of that increase in revenue that you get from the increase in value, say 30%, and you were to put it off to the side so it doesn't compete with some of your classic city issues, and then even better if we're able to work with some of these surrounding jurisdictions, Hennepin, Bloomington, Medina, Ramsey, etc., then we actually would have the money to be able to do this. Is it going to be controversial? Absolutely, it will be. But it's the right thing to do, because if we're really going to solve the crisis in the face of losing 4% and 9% low-income tax credits, which, by the way, some of them we're losing, if Donald Trump is really going to cut out community development block grants, which, by the way, they're talking about it, then we, the city, need to step up to be that beacon of opportunity and inclusivity for every single person in our city. We can do that.
Thank you, Councilmember Fry.
Excuse me, Curtis, can I just break in for a second?
Sure, absolutely.
Because what he just described is the tax levy. I mean, what we do as a city is if there's an increase in value, the city coffers don't automatically get that increase in value. You have to propose a number that's higher if you want more property tax revenue from year to year. And the way the property tax works is if your property is valued at a higher level, then you are going to pay more property taxes. Nothing stops the city from investing what goes into the general fund into affordable housing. And as a matter of fact, many of the dollars that I have proposed for affordable housing come out of the general fund and have captured the growth in our property in the last few years.
And that's not entirely correct.
What it means
is
that you can actually increase taxes, but because the properties are valued more and there are more of them, people don't experience it as the kind of increase that Aswar asserts, but that is not how the property tax levy works either.
Councilmember Fry, just quick response and then we'll go
Quick response. When you increase the tax levy, that money goes into the general fund that could be used for anything. And this is where the rubber really meets the road. The question is, what are you going to use those dollars for? And I'm saying I value affordable housing. There are other benevolent things that this money can go to, but I'm saying I value affordable housing, and we as a city should make the commitment ahead of time.
Okay,
that this is where the money is going to go. So no, Mayor Hodges, you increase the tax levy, it doesn't go into a separate pool that is separate in and of it to itself. That's just not how it works. It goes to the general fund.
Right, and that's what I said. It goes into the general fund. But what I would note, Curtis, is that in the 3 budgets that I presented that the council has voted for, Councilmember Fry noted that he had made 1 amendment to the budget, and that is the only amendment to the budget that he's made of any significance in the time. He has taken my lead on the budget and how to invest in the budget. I worked with him and was proud to support his amendment to add more money to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. But he has, as the question came earlier, he has been in office for the last almost 4 years now, and this has not been what he's been doing.
Looks like a lot of people want to get on this one. Aswar Rahman, why do you jump in? And Al Flowers.
I'll let somebody else talk.
When we look at this in such a cut and dry way, so basically because certain property values went up in the city of Minneapolis, we are going to raise the rate on every single person. Who does that hurt most? Does it hurt somebody who has disposable income, or does it hurt low-income people?
That's not how the levy works, Aswar.
That is how the levy works.
That's not how it
What
works.
is a single measure you've taken to ensure that low-income people in Minneapolis will not suffer because of your property tax levy?
Aswar, the way the property tax levy works is we decide an amount of money and then we spread it across all the properties that pay property taxes. And so, as a result, people whose properties are valued higher, who've increased in significant value, they do pay a little bit more, but it's relative to the value of the housing and the commercial properties near you and around you.
Mayor, I prefer not to be condescended to. I asked you a simple question without a single answer coming out right now.
I don't know how to explain it more simply or more accurately.
Name a single measure you've
okay.
taken.
It is-
Al Flowers has been patiently waiting. He wanted to jump on this, and then let's move on because we have questions for each of you.
And I'm not